the minutes from September 1st. Everybody had a chance to look at them. They were emailed out earlier. Thank you, Linda. Any questions, comments? All right, do I have a motion to adopt the minutes?
Make a motion to adopt.
I'll second it. I'll second it. Sharon Love.
All right, moving right along to reports.
Well, you got another copy of this.
Sharon.
Show the pictures and all of this.
I'll put my glasses on. I can see the screen, but if I put them off, I can see the screen.
All right, so the second phase of the soccer complex renovation, we've not really done anything with it. We're just kind of biding our time, trying to save a little money while we get this tennis court project done. Probably late spring or so, we might see some movement on that. And hopefully by the end or beginning of next budget year, have something started with that. That's where we're at with that. The tennis court project is humming along. Some pictures here. This is just for like close to the last time we met. And then they got the other pad done. And then this is where it was at as of yesterday. So they got the concrete pad in between the two courts. I guess they're getting close to where the surfacing and all that. I know the fencing is pretty much up around the one on this one, and they started putting it up on the other side today. So
The paint come today.
Oh, yeah.
Seen them back there unloading.
And then I know the parking lot lights have started going in, or I think all of them are up now for the parking lot. So it's really moving along fast. I mean, maybe by the end of the year, we'll have it to where people can already start playing on it and all that kind of stuff. So
Basketball courts stay?
Yep.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. The basketball courts, are they staying, or the courts that are there?
Yeah, that court, yeah, it's just one half-court basketball goal, but yeah, that's staying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the, I was going to let you know, Jason, some of his folks in his engineering company were looking at the overall design, and they were like, "What'd you do? Design a tennis racket in the center?" when you bring the crosswalk, the crosswalk goes all the way across towards the basketball court. You got the long handle. It looks like it looks like a tennis racket. He goes, "No, I didn't design it that way. I was thinking about that. It just came out that way."
Let me add a little concrete run there. So it looks like it.
Yeah.
Advertise it that way.
Yeah, we can.
The Greenway Bridge restoration that we're doing, the one that was along Tyree Springs, that little one that's there. I've been working with Jason, our city engineer, and his engineering firm, and they've started the ARAP, which they got to do because it's connected to the creek, so it's got to go through TDEC and all that. So it's a long process, but I know that's been started, and I signed off on something for it, I guess. But that's kind of where we're at. Nothing's really been done other than that. The Greenway lighting project, this I also wanted to there. Yeah, there we go. This is the Greenway lighting project that we've got out for quotes right now. And what we're trying to do is basically put some lighting in the area that we have trail of trees, starting at around where the bridge is at the high school and ending kind of where the sidewalk comes in at the new development, close to the access road. And so Jason, he put together some specs for me, and he thought that it would probably be more expensive than expected to do it. So he thought it might just be best for this to kind of be an exploratory year for it and see what it would cost, get some quotes in, and then go from there. I did hear from one company that does solar lighting, and the pricing wasn't too bad, but he said that he would actually not suggest putting solar down there because of all the trees and the shade and the way that it's oriented down there. So, for what it's worth.
Okay.
So.
I know we talked about this before, but, just because it's kind of in my mind, since you showed the picture. I mean, trail of tree, what, I mean, if we can't use the, if you can't, you're not supposed to be on the trail at night.
But people
And
do anyway.
people do anyway. And if it was lit, they probably would appreciate it.
Mhm.
But, I mean, what's our thought on why we're lighting it? Just for the trail of trees, or, and
Pretty much.
yeah, so if it's expensive to do that,
Right.
yeah.
It doesn't seem feasible for a once-a-year event.
Right.
Kind of would probably want to turn it off because the new neighbors that are going to be living right up against it may not be too excited about having those lights on, they may be shooting them out at you.
Yeah. Well, we would probably have it cut off kind of like, if we kept them on year-round, it'd probably be like a park where it would cut off at 10 or 11 o'clock or something like that, would be the thought. We wouldn't keep them on all night long.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Depending on what kind of lights, I know there's a street light out by my house, and when it's on, I have to shut the window, I mean, and I live out pretty far,
Is that a permanent location for the trail of trees? It may be.
That's another question.
Parking.
Yeah, that's where my thought was going
Access.
too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We had talked about that before.
Yep. Yep. That's the thing. I mean, if it's not gonna cost that much, yeah, we'd probably look into it further. But that's kind of what this is for, is just to see, you know, what kind of prices we get back, and we'll kind of adjust from there.
What does it cost you to rent the equipment that you've been renting to put out there?
We didn't have to rent anything this year. We just used the bucket truck from Public Works, and we had some big lights.
Okay.
But it's really not enough lighting. We thought about, we're probably gonna have to add some more.
Yeah.
But, I mean, those lights are maybe a couple $100, you know, for one night, so it's not
But
too
then you
bad.
have the noise, right, from the generators, with the lights and stuff, so you, I mean, that's a trade-off, I guess you have to look at that too.
Yeah.
But just think about it, if you're only gonna light that portion of the greenway, then why, is the question.
Well, people love it when it's lit like that. I know that. We got a lot of comments about how, you know, people love that, just that big long bridge there and everything when it's lit up. Of course, we can't keep those lights that we have there up all year round because they get busted out within 2 days. But, I don't know, it's just a nice area where the creek is and all that. I mean, it doesn't have to be a full-on, the whole greenway, but maybe just one nice little area that people could go at night. I don't know. It's different. I don't know. So, but as far as, like I said in here, it's not likely to really do anything with it this year other than just get quotes in and see what it's like. The museum had a HVAC unit that we had on the budget this year that needed replacing, and we've done that, so that's complete. I think I've already talked about the Tyler Park software before, how we're not doing that yet, so there's no update on that. I do want to go back though to these pictures just to kind of show where we're at with the construction with the, I think we were going to talk about the rec center probably later on, I think. Yeah. But this is a little separate from the rec center, so just to kind of show the progress. Taking a couple of those. So everything's down now. Actually, this hallway, they were waiting, I guess, on a water line or something like that to get fixed, and now that is gone as of this week. So pretty much it's just this building here that's left. So little issues that come up here and there, but you know, we're working through it, and it was kind of expected. So hopefully we'll keep it going for basketball, and I think we don't have heat yet, so we've got to get that figured out. hopefully that'll be figured out pretty
The only thing
soon.
that's waiting on is Piedmont Gas to get out there and run their service line to our because we ran a new connection to the back of the building here. So we're just waiting for them to connect it, and then they gotta put the meter in place. So they told us about, it could take up to 30 days, and that's been about 2 weeks ago, so I'm hoping to get it in by Thanksgiving, would be nice.
That's where we're at with that.
Good thing it's warm out.
Yeah. I wanted to mention that, we had it in the budget, in our cemetery budget. I know we don't talk about cemetery that much in this, board, because we have our own board for the cemetery. But I just think it's kind of neat that, we've got this new software, and, I got 3 quotes for it, and went with this company called Chronicle. They're actually out of Australia, but they were like half the price of everybody else that I was working with, and it's actually, to me, it's better software and everything else, so, but they're gonna, kinda like this picture shows, it's gonna take our paper maps and digitize everything, make it to where we can keep it all online and, enter it in that way. This is just kinda going through what I've already talked about, but you can search for, you know, deceased loved ones, and, it can take you exactly where you need to go to find them, and, let's see, like, yeah, on the phone, it's got an app that basically gives you walking directions and everything. And one thing that I didn't realize it had, that we'll probably have to discuss with our finance department and all that, but I think it's pretty neat, and it would, I guess, bring in revenue long past the life of the cemetery. It's got an option on there for people to be able to, like, pay, I think it's like $40 or something, and people can go on there and write, you know, stories of their loved ones and stuff, and a background and all that, and we get like a 40%, I guess, share of that, so, it's pretty neat, so. And then if there's any, like, prominent people that are buried there, you know, you can put stories of them and all that kind of stuff, so it's just pretty neat.
Maybe something like that on the Greenway,
Yeah,
history,
yeah.
kind of thing.
We've got an arboretum, you know, we
I know.
identify the trees.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool to do that, huh?
Yeah. But I think, it's something that I'll probably hook up with, Susan on, because, like, people that are in there that maybe have a history or something that we can trace back, she can probably do that. Like, I mean, Miss Will's buried in there, so, you know, we could have a little something on her or whatever, so, it's just,
How much is the software?
it was only, for this, it covered all the stuff like training and everything. For the first year, it was like 6,000 something, and then after that, it's like, I think, I wanna say 1,300 or so a year or something, so. I think the next closest was like 12 or 13,000, and then it was like 5,000 or something after that every year, so.
What's the capacity, I mean, I guess it would automatically tell you what the capacity is, you'd probably know it if you did it every day anyway. Is it like 85% filled up, or 95%,
Let's
or
see, we've
10?
got 5 sections now, and, I mean, I would say, yeah, it's close to 80%, I would say, would be my guess. 75%, if you count the columbarians too, if we have 6 more, or 5 more columbarians that we do. So, yeah.
Good, I thought it was more filled up than that.
Yeah, well, it was pretty full until we opened up the new section, and that opened up another probably couple thousand, spots, so.
Does it make you compliant, I guess, with all the state regulations about you gotta have off-site storage for the different records and all that
There was
stuff?
somebody that brought that up to us, but they use, Amazon Web Services, so, you know, it's in the United States, so, and I think they have Google Cloud or something too, which obviously is, the only thing they do, offshore, I think, is like their coding, I think is what they said, or programming, which they said that, like, everybody does that, so, because it's too expensive to do it here, so, but as far as I know, I mean, they've got several other cemeteries and stuff in the United States that they do, so. But, yeah, not trying to go down the morbid path, but just wanted to share that.
I think the only thing I would be concerned with is that you get the software package and you put all your eggs in that one basket of trying to maintain it, then you fill it up and you go, wow, I don't want to have to pay for this to have it, but then do you lose your records if you switch? Because a lot of them have like a switching barrier. It's kind of a CRM like
We
Salesforce.
probably still, we got our own Excel sheet and everything, you know, that we keep up with it, so we probably still do that as a backup,
Yeah,
I would say.
print out hard copies. I think you're supposed to keep your records off-site from the main location. If, like, something burned and you lost your records, you gotta have it.
Yeah, we have a
Somewhere.
backup site for all of our cloud software
Yeah.
now, for our internal stuff.
So, yeah, it'd be cool.
That's something to think about. As far as another museum, project we've got going is, to restore the, chimney. It's cracking and stuff, and then it's leaking into the building, so we put that in the, budget this year to do that, and this is kind of what they're thinking about doing to kind of make it a little better, so. We've also got in there for the playground restoration. You can see that this swing, it's been down for probably a couple years now. And it's just, if it was a very simple fix, we would have already done it, but it's like, I think it's $3,000 something just to fix this one little swing. So, I had to put it in our budget to do that. So, I've ordered it this week, so hopefully, I don't know how long it's supposed to take to get here, but, it's just parts. We've got the swing, it's just like the cables and the bolts, and like, it's ridiculous, $3,000 something for that. But we get calls about it, like, people complain that it's not working, so,
It's the liability insurance that they have to pay for those cables and bolts.
yeah.
So when the kid falls off the swing, they cover it.
Mhm.
So what happened to it is my question.
I'm not exactly sure, I mean,
It
it
just
just fell off and, you know,
They just wore the swing part of it, the bracket where it swings, just, I mean, 'cause it got used a lot. Like, it was one of the hottest things in there.
it's like a disc.
Was it used or abused?
No, it was
Good
actually
question.
used, yeah, it's like a disc and it's real thick rubber around the edge of it, so even if they tried to tear the swing itself up, I don't think you could. It's just the swinging mechanism up top's what messed up. I was just looking, you could probably put a hammock in there, you know?
Yeah.
Probably could. Grandparents would love that.
Yeah.
Let their kids play.
Yeah.
We get enough of those in the park anyway.
It's about, what, 10 years old? Is it 10 years old yet?
Probably not quite, I know they did it while I was here, and I've been here for 10 years. So it was probably, it might be 8 years though. It's been a while. It's
Do the
been quite a
replacement
while.
parts have warranty,
That's what
so that we don't have to replace them again in 2 years?
I'll need to check that. Good point.
Or is there an alternative to the swing that was in there that will fit in there? Would be the next question.
Yeah. Yeah, if it happens again, yeah. Have to look at something different. And then, we've got some areas on there too that's, worn out that, I'm still trying to get pricing and stuff from this lady that does the surfacing, but, we've gotta get that fixed, so. It's just part of having, that type of surfacing that's gonna happen, so. Let's see. Okay, we've got, a couple other fencing projects coming up this month. Field 5, we did the outline, or the outfield, last year in the foul lines, so that we've got to do the dugouts and the backstop this year, so, I'll be getting quotes on that. I've already updated all the specs, so I just got to send that out to the companies to get some quotes. And then, did I skip something? I didn't have the other one right here. Either way, the maintenance building fencing, we did the front of it and put a new gate, what is it, solar powered or?
Mhm.
Yeah. And so now we want to do the side and the back, and the back portion will have like barbed wire on it, especially since they're building those apartments and everything now with all of our expensive equipment, so I want to do all that. So now we're down quite a bit on projects that we've got left for the year, so that's good. Just a few more, so I think that's all I've got.
it looks like, so for our athletic programs, we'll be finishing our adult softball league next Monday, as long as the weather cooperates with me. And then, we ended up having 5 teams. I think, last meeting I had 4 teams signed up, so we ended up with 5 teams. It's been a pretty good group. We've had good weather, so hopefully we'll have a good turnout for the next season too. We haven't had very many problems with, the season. We had, for our youth athletics, we just finished basketball registration, which has been, a significant amount more than what we had last year. We're probably closer to 370 kids now, and we have 49 teams. I just finished coaches meetings this week, and they're set to start practice, Saturday. So we'll be using our gym, of course, and then, off-site we used White House Middle to help with practices on Saturdays, and then, our games for our older groups will be out at Heritage High School. So, it's a promising start to the season, and, the rec center will be much needed once it's here. We had better turnout this year for our bike parade. We were on the fence if we were even going to do it, but we had 15 participants. And I think with the extra promotion we did, and online registration actually helped us out, doing pre-registration. This is our 2nd place winner, with her little unicorn bike, and I think I included, our 1st place winner who did a, fall themed trailer.
Oh.
So they got there, and I had lined them all up, and I had some of our city staff members, walk the line with us and then do a quick judgment, and they received their trophies beforehand, and then the police officers led them around the event, to show off their floats and their decorations. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, that number seems awful low, remember when my kids had gone through this.
We had, I know I look back and we had one year where we had like 70 something and 50 something, you know, just, yeah, it's really low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really on the edge of like, do we need to keep doing this? But I think it's more than we had last year, so.
It is more than we had last year.
And I was there when, I was almost there in the picture over here when they started, and I was videoing them coming through, and they were having a big time.
I think it would help too if we gave them more of a area to do something, because it's really not much, it's just going around that parking lot. We could somehow get them out on the road or do something, because that's what we used to do, you know.
Yeah, because it's moved up here now, right? Before it used to start at the fire station.
Right.
And then go through the Greenway and elementary school and all that.
Right.
And all that, yeah.
Yeah.
We can close College Street if we need to, and Carmack if you want.
Yeah, there was some reason though that they didn't want to do that. I can't remember what it was, but either way, I don't know.
It's kind of like, we only have 15, and you don't want to shut down the street, but
Right.
if you only have like a little place, and maybe not as many, like,
Then nobody wants to
kind
sign
of
up.
like, how do we get
Yeah.
it?
Then nobody wants to show up,
Yeah,
You have to balance both.
right.
Yeah.
Because next year you won't even have that parking lot available to you.
We might need to brainstorm a potential different type of event if we want to run something at that.
Of course, we used to do it on Labor Day, so
Yeah,
But-
and it was a lot.
they ran that in conjunction with the safety day, so that helped. But it's changed a little since then. So, yeah, we may just have to look at doing something a little different.
When is safety day?
That was the same day.
Yep, it's all Discover White House Safety Day and Bike Parade, October 1st was the date we had it.
It was a great turnout at Discover White House,
Oh,
although it
yeah.
wasn't because of that.
Our Trail of Treats, which, as you guys probably saw, we had to move it, to the rain date on Thursday. We had, 1,172 attendees, which is down from the last time we had it at the Greenway, from what I understand. And then I do believe we are competing with some other events that evening. There was, I don't remember what
There's
this
quite a few
H.B.
churches.
Williams.
yeah, H.B. Williams and some other church events, and then Hendersonville Parks and Rec also had an event that weekend. I don't know how big our draw is, but having to change dates could have hurt our turnout for that compared to what we used to be. We are also down vendors from previous year. We only had 26 individual vendors. Some had multiple booths, so we had 28 booths total. And then these are just some pictures. This is Orchard Park. They did Jurassic Bark, and they were real fun, so that was one of our favorites. This is from Hitchhiker Toys. So they had a cool display of some, I think they made them themselves, of Halloween decorations. And then these are our winners. They're a Girl Scout troop who was representing a service unit for the regional area, and they took home the trophy.
How many booths did you have last year?
Not even that many, because we had it in the city hall. It was probably like 15 or so. But we used to be in like, 40s. So there's just too many things going on in October now that we're at the end of the month. We're just gonna get so less.
Our upcoming events is we're preparing for the Christmas parade, which will be December 3rd. And we've had a good pre-registration for our parade so far. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but I think we're close to 20 pre-registration for the parade.
How's the theme going over? Have you heard?
Sure.
When they register, do they have to say like what their thing is? I mean, like I know it's all superheroes because that's the theme, but do they have to say like what superheroes they're doing or anything like that when they register? Just the name of the.
They're
Yeah.
supposed to give a description of what, of their business and stuff like that, so they can announce it for the chamber and everything, but.
But not the float itself.
No. I mean, they give us like, if they're gonna have a truck and a trailer, if they're gonna have just a truck, stuff like, those kind of details, but they don't give us
Okay.
like what exactly they're gonna do,
Yeah.
so. Which is a nice surprise.
Yeah, yeah.
See what
They
they do.
probably don't
Yeah, I'm
know.
just curious. Yeah, they probably have an idea.
And then just following up on some other things that we talked about at the last meeting. I know we started out with pickleball being on Tuesdays and Thursdays up at the gym, but we have expanded it to pretty much every day, Monday through Thursday. We have a steady turnout on Tuesdays and Thursday, and it kind of intimidates our seniors from what I've heard. So Billy asked us to keep that open to them on Monday and Wednesdays. So Monday and Wednesdays are more of our senior pickleball days, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays are our open play, like we had previously advertised. We had to buy an extra net, and then we actually have a community member who brings their own net so that we can have 3 courts going on Tuesdays and Thursdays when they come. So we have about 12 to 15 on average, or give or take some on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then 6 to 8 for our seniors on Monday and Wednesdays that are consistently coming out.
Does that take very long to tape that out for them? I mean, I know you probably have to take the tape up with basketball and volleyball or.
I guess it stays down.
It stays down.
Oh, it stays down
Yeah.
okay?
We laid it down. Lindsay did a good job making sure that it was planned, that it didn't interfere with too many of the other lines. So any of the lines that it backs up to, it pretty much follows, and volleyball didn't have a problem with it at all, and it's not going to interfere close enough to the basketball.
All right, so it's a pretty good tape that's staying down pretty good for you. I'm thinking, if this continues to grow in our new rec center, we may end up having to do the same thing on one of the basketball courts or something.
Well, there is gonna be a pickleball court in that auxiliary gym.
There are 2 of them, but you got 3 of them going here now.
Well, yeah, and that big gym, I mean, you could do several in there. But then eventually, hopefully, we'll have the pickleball courts put that up in New
Outdoors.
Parkland.
Which would be nice, yeah.
That'll be nice. And they can play pickleball and tennis courts, it's just, they would rather us, you know.
Aren't the nets a little bit lower though?
Yeah, they have to bring their own net.
Hmm.
Well, I saw on a couple at a park, they brought their own net and put it on the tennis court.
Oh,
Not our
okay.
tennis court, but,
Somewhere else, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think we made the right decision not putting, I was thinking we should put pickleball courts out there, or lines at least or something, and make the nets adjustable or something, but I'm glad that Jerry and Jason decided not to do that, 'cause after seeing how, like, tennis and pickleball people are kind of, they don't like each other.
Territorial.
So, it's kind of a thing, so
They're both very passionate about their sport.
Well, of course, tennis players don't think pickleball is a sport, so, you know. So, they think it's a big fad, so, you know, but it's contentious, so it's probably better just to keep it separate.
Not bad, that's been going for 60 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ready for me?
Yep.
We have overseeded all of our sports fields at the park and the soccer complex with rye. Before we put the seed down, we aerated all the fields, and then after the rye was put down, we put around the fertilizer. It took 107 bags of rye and 80 bags of fertilizer to do that. At the last meeting, I had talked about where on the greenway we had some spots where the tree roots were pushing up. And we worked with Public Works and went in and saw cut, got the tree roots out, and then put new asphalt back in. So really appreciate Public Works working with us on that, because we got it done right. The worst spot was right in the Trail Tree area. So we was able to get that done before that event. Been doing some winterizing. We've already got the splash pad and all of our locations with irrigation. We rent this large air compressor where we can really blow out the lines good to try to cut down any freezes. We have some restrooms we'll winterize, and of course all the drinking fountains, but we try to hold out as long as we can, or people don't complain about it being shut down too early. The dog park will hold out as long as we can on that one too. We had a drainage issue at the dog park. Whenever we get a big heavy rain, it was coming over and into the side of the fence there and starting to push the fence out, break it loose. But our staff went in and cleaned the ditch line out and regraded, and so far so good. I guess this spring will probably tell. Then at the last meeting, I also talked about the demolition of the old tennis courts. We were able to take all of the asphalt and a big hunk of the dirt that they were pulling out. And I don't know if any of you remember, but this used to just drop straight off from the side of the shop, and we were able to build that up and make us a building pad for future. I'd like to put a lean-to right there. So I thought it was pretty neat. Didn't cost the city any money, and the big advantage to me is it really sped the demolition part up, because the contractor was only having to bring it from the tennis court to our shop versus having to haul all that material somewhere else. So I think that really probably knocked a couple of weeks off, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think Kevin's going to cut me a check tonight for the That's all right.
Do you have any questions about the report?
Motion to approve.
Second.
No, we move on, Kevin, to the monthly report.
All right. Okay, I'm a senior citizen.
You've been here 6 months now? Yes. How long have you been here now?
July. I don't know, how long have I been here for?
What would that be? 4 months?
Yeah, not quite, 6 months.
You still here? Still here, good for you.
So. But just looking at the pavilion usage, it's up over, 2020 and 2021 numbers. And just to, I think I mentioned it the last time, but there's some sections where I chose 2020 to go off of and some 2019, just depended on, you know, like, if things looked like they were staying consistent, I just used 2020, but, if it was low, like in 2020, then I'd take it out and put 2019 in there, but, so it's up for past 2 years, for pavilion usage, so that's good. Facility usage, obviously, it came down from 2019 to 2021 by 20%, but then went way up this year, so, that's really good to see. Our ball field rentals, they're kind of hit or miss. I mean, we had 1 year where it was huge, it may have been 2019, or no, I think it was 2020. And then it went way down last year, and then it's gone way up this year, actually more than 2020, so, we've got a lot of travel teams using it, that's for sure. Our museum attendance for October, I just put a little note in here that, for 2022, I put the gathering in here, even though it was technically in September, just because I wanted to sort of show the comparison. Because I think last year she had the gathering in September. Or no, this year she had it in September. Last year she had it in October, sorry. So, but I did want to mention that went over really well. She had like over 800 people that came through, so that's a really consistent, good event that she's got going over there, so that's going well. Our special event attendance down in 2021 over 2020, obviously, and then went up just a little bit this year from last year, just from having a little bit more, maybe at Trail of Treats and the bike parade, but not much. So, senior programming attendance, obviously, from 2019 to 2021, it went way down, but then we've gone way up from there since last year, so that's really good to see. Same thing for the first-time visitors. I actually just added one to 2021 just because otherwise it'd throw my numbers off. So we're up pretty good on that. And then our total program offerings for October, we're offering more programs than we did pre-COVID, so that's good to see that we're doing more than in the past. Just as far as revenue goes, all of our programming special event revenue is up, but of course we've raised prices on registration and stuff too, so that's some of the reason for that, but most of our programs are higher, obviously, like basketball. I guess we have that for this year, which is like, I think total for basketball, what were you saying, Linda? It was like 39,000 or something we made total from basketball, and we made 26,000 or something like that the year prior, which we did go up on the price, but still, I mean, you know, we've got 70-ish or 60 or 70 more kids this year than last year, so we're doing well there. Our pavilion rental revenue, it's weird, it's down from last year, even though we have more rentals or usage. So I guess it's just people using it for free, I guess, this month or something, I don't know. But our facility rental revenue is up over last year, I think mostly because of the church. I don't know, I guess it's more expensive to use the gym than what they were using the auditorium, so that's a little bit of that. And then our ball field rental revenue, is up this year over last year. I guess it's probably the most we made in October, maybe ever, so. And these, I haven't updated this for October because we literally just got the draft reports this afternoon, but this is from the month of September where we were at in our budget. Pretty much everything's over budget, and it's probably going to be the same thing next month. We've just done a lot of projects, and so it's kind of put things, and we've still got big POs that we have in for, so it kind of shows, you know, we haven't actually spent it yet, but the PO kind of accounts for a lot of it. In park maintenance, I kind of had to do some finagling with that because it's got like the rec center involved in it, and it's like for $12 million, so it's technically like way over budget, really, but I tried to take that out of it and just focus mostly on just park maintenance stuff, so we're not too far over budget, but let's go to our special funds, our cemetery budget. Just running a little bit over, but we've done that. I think that's because of the software. Maybe can't remember what the big PO was in that. Oh, it's the burials. We do a big open PO for that, so we haven't caught up to that yet. Our park sales tax, we haven't spent a whole lot of that, but I think maybe we did last month, so that will probably go up quite a bit. I don't know if from the tennis court invoice, if that comes out of park sales tax. I think it does.
Comes out of park sales tax, but that, because the tennis courts is going really fast.
Yeah.
All that extra, you let haul that dirt to your place instead of somewhere else, I guess, sped them up, so I got a cash flow issue going on right now, so I'm gonna grab some Parks Impact money, about $350,000 out of Parks Impact, and put it towards those tennis courts, so you'll be seeing that change occur.
But our impact fees, we're doing really well there, so much more than we expected, so that's good. And our revenue accounts, no, that's not good, sorry. That's the budget. But that's really because there's only 2 projects in that budget. If I go back, I don't know if that's, yeah, there's only, there's only 2 projects in this budget. One of them was the top dresser that we got, and then the other is the fencing for the maintenance shop. So obviously the top dresser, that took more than half of it, and we're only, at this point, 25% through the year, so that's the reason for that. In our revenue accounts, our cemetery revenues are less than we expected. We just haven't had a lot of burials so far this year, especially compared to last year. So we upped our expected revenues this year just because we had so many burials last year, and we just haven't had that many this year. So that's the reason it's a little less than expected. Park sales tax is a little bit more than budget. I'm not sure where it's at this month, but and then Parks Impact fees this time, that is a good thing. So more than expected. So. I think that's it. Yeah. That's kind of where we're at.
All right, we have a motion to approve that report.
I'll make the motion to approve them.
Second. Old business.
Don't have anything on the first section unless somebody else does.
Nothing from the bike guys, I guess, huh?
Nope.
I guess I'll let Jerry kind of speak on the rec center.
So it's, you know, we've been pretty successful so far being able to tear parts of that gymnasium off, I mean the rest of the building without the gymnasium crumbling into a hole into the ground or something, so it's going well there. They got some areas they gotta close up yet with some masonry work that's probably gonna take place next Monday and Tuesday. The dump, like I said, is just about done. The gentleman, the company that's gonna be building the new rec center, they've been out here a couple of times. One of our project manager will be on site every day with us. He lives just a few minutes from here. He's a local guy. He's been with the business for 20, 30 years with that particular company, so he's looking forward to being up here working on this project. I'm happy about that. They've been out here analyzing where they're going to put their fencing and their erosion control, but they want to start with the splash pad building first to give the folks doing the demo and building the parking lot a little bit more time. So I anticipate starting to see some movement from Romac probably by Thanksgiving. By the end of the month, we should start seeing them coming on site, starting to do their stuff. So it'll be interesting. They have to. They're telling me that we're going to. I don't know if you know what we call it, a lean-to. It's a little side building. It's on this side of the gymnasium. That's the first thing they have to rip off, and they're going to be within probably about 10 feet of the current gymnasium, and they have to dig down 18 feet along that area. So it's yeah, it's got showing you right there, but they're going to have to put those not retaining wall, but those, I don't know, metal sheets of metal that they put down to the ground to kind of hold the ground back while they dig deep. And we don't, you know, and we've warned them we don't know what's underneath that area. We've been told a boiler, so there may be some asbestos removal once they get in there. I don't know yet, but they'll be digging that all out probably in December and January. We'll start seeing some of that happening out there. So that's all I have on that.
Archaeological dig.
Discovery.
Good, yeah.
We can all see the Kenny mics.
As long as there's no bones.
Anything on the walking trail over at Tom? There's pretty much nothing until,
Yeah, I don't think we plan on doing much with it until, I think me and Jerry talked about trying to get the soccer complex project done, and then we wanted to put bathrooms and stuff at the back of the
Bathrooms,
park
concession
for
stand.
tennis and dog park area, and then after that, move towards Byron Park.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
probably 2 or 3 years at that point, which I guess could lead into our
Is there no longer a bathroom back there already?
There's the one between 5 and 6.
5 and 6, okay, you'll do it, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Is that open during the day most of the time, or?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. But now with the tennis courts and basketball courts. and
We already
golf
get people complain when they were back there
Rover
anyway,
Bridge.
for tennis, you know, that
Yeah.
it's too long of a walk.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
we would.
Yeah.
It is a long walk, but I
Oh,
mean,
no.
Yeah.
they're playing tennis anyway.
Yeah.
So we've already asked the developer that's developing the townhouses behind there to give us a tap for water and sewer so we could connect to the bathroom facility back there. So we're planning this out, so.
Moving on to new business, budget.
Yep. All right, I'll bring up, try to explain this again. I know it's not very big.
Either way.
So, this is the,
Picture on,
yeah, there we go. So this is the 6-year CIP that I have to put together every year. I've included this year just to show what we have in it, and then I've got a blank here 6 years out when we do our budget this coming 2023. But just trying to look at this. This is actually should be 2023. Either way. So for this year, we have the dog park parking lot paving, and this is out of the general fund, by the way. This is strictly just the general fund budget. So I try not to do too much out of this because everybody else likes to tap into this, and I have park sales tax and park impact fee money and all that kind of stuff. So I try not to ask for too much out of it. But this year we had the dog park parking lot paving and striping, which is to be determined on what we do with that. The splash pad maintenance, which ended up going into the the rec center project, so that's not really, but I think that's no longer, that wasn't even put in the budget as far as in the general fund stuff. It was part of our park maintenance budget that was part of the rec center project, so, but that's how I turned it in last year, so. And then the concession stand renovation design and, splash pad, building design, that was 2022, and that all got done. So moving into next year, I think I was just asking for a park admin truck, and I think we were, had the electronic sign in there, which, of course, that could be pushed. And then,
The question I have is on maintenance, right, and splash pad maintenance, that's gonna be required every year.
I think so, yeah.
So why do we not have it rolling out every fiscal year?
Well, I just don't know if I wanna ask for it out of general fund every year, I guess is the big thing. Because it's just hard to know what's gonna go wrong, and, we've got the big, tank that we have in there that at any point that could get a big crack in it, and I have no idea how much that would cost. And then we're gonna have to start replacing some of the features out there that are fading already, the colors on them are, and, so there's just stuff like that that, it's hard to know what they're gonna cost, but, I may be able to take it out of, less, like non-CIP, so less than $25,000. So all this stuff that you see here is $25,000 or more. So, these are all capital projects. So that would be my hope, that is after this year, once we have this building and everything, maybe I can just slowly, fix some things out there without having to go through, $25,000 or more capital project, so.
In the Greenway, paving cycle?
Yeah, that'll be in, park sales tax, so I'll go to that just to kind of show you. I've got that going all the way through. I'm hoping, I think I upped them to 100,000 because it's just getting more expensive. But I'm hoping, let's see, next year, that'll get us a good ways done, but it'll probably take another year after that to get it completely done. Because we've got from the high school bridge all the way to Portland Road. So that's a pretty long stretch that'll cost quite a bit of money. So, I mean, it cost us almost $90,000 just to do Wayside last year. So, I don't know. It may take us a little longer to complete that. But then I've got money in there to hopefully start doing, parking lots again. We've got several parking lots, like the, one where the vet clinic is at that trailhead. That one's pretty bad. I know they've, fixed some potholes and stuff in there recently, but, there's just several parking lots that'll need to start getting fixed. So it'll just be an ongoing thing. But going back to our general fund, I just have some other small projects like, this has been on there for years and years, but like a new, design for our, parking lot in the back, which that is becoming more and more of a need now with football. We've got flag football down there now on Sundays. It's just, I got a call from Pat, a couple weeks ago that they're getting complaints from parents about not having anywhere to park and stuff. So it's becoming more and more of a need now to get some kind of, figure out something back there for parking, because it's just.
Well, the parking lot we're putting in for the tennis courts is pretty large. I think that's gonna help accommodate some areas for
Hopefully.
you.
But we'll, that'll definitely help with like the disc golf, because I think
would
that
think so. Basketball and
takes
tennis.
up a lot of it, so.
And your electronic sign for the park, that's not 23, it's 24,
Yeah,
and that's,
that'd be next year. So take this one out.
are you a year off?
No. Well, yeah, because this one needs to go over there too. just look at this like it's this year. Just can't even change anything. But so that'll be 2024. But I think I did want the admin truck for next year, but mine's still kicking, so you know I can make it work another year. But I think we are going to need to put some more money in the splash pad, but it's debatable whether it's going to cost that much money now that we have a brand new building that's going up this year. But I did have the concession stand renovation in here, which it's probably going to be more than $150,000, so I may need to push it on down the road. We've done the design for it now, so really it's just a matter of building it and getting it done. So I don't know what you guys think, but us spending that kind of money for a program that we don't run, you know. Mm-hmm. And we don't even run concessions out of that ever. We used to for our fall ball, but it just become a thing that, you know, we were losing money on it, so, but.
You know, what happened to the teams coming and sharing their updates once a year? We just kind of got out of the habit of that the last couple of years. Do they do it at all? Do they still bring the reports up and hand them to you to
They
look
give
at?
me their financials, yeah. Mm-hmm. We meet with them every year, and we're in communication with them all the time. Yeah, but it would be good for them to.
It'd be good for us,
yeah.
I think, as a board to, I mean, I got a lot out of that. When they came and said, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, because, you know, since Mark left soccer, because that was really one of the best presentations, actually, a partnering organization came and said, hey, you know, let's partner, let's do this. Now, they may be doing that with you, but we don't hear that, you know, so it'd be a good practice to do it once a year. It wouldn't have to be stressful for them, you know, like I think they're under their gun, but just to get exposure to us and us get exposure to them.
Right.
Yeah, it could be as simple as, like, this is what we did last year, and then this is our vision for
Yeah,
next
it'd
year.
be good.
Something real quick and easy.
I know they're not, I mean, the soccer program has been the most gracious as far as helping the city with lighting up and giving us funds for that. Junior pro football did pay half of the concession stand that was built down there, and we paid half, but we've not gotten anything out of baseball in years.
Well, they gave us some money for the Field 7 restoration.
Oh,
that
that's
we
good.
did. A little bit. I think it was maybe $5,000 or so, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, we don't really get much from baseball, that's for sure. Especially consider we probably spend more on that sport than all the other sports combined.
That would be something to take a look at as a little study thing. You may know, but like, again, for us, and if they, I don't know, I just see that as an opportunity to reach out into the community. What's parts of parks, right? And it wouldn't be a threat like, you know, oh, come and do this or that. It would just be informative sharing, you know. And then if they ever did want something, or if we did it and they didn't appreciate it, we'd at least have a dialogue going that was already steady state instead of like emotional.
So, I guess, my thinking was, I'm not too excited about trying to do the concession stand renovation next year. I mean, that wasn't really something that.
Did we promise anything?
No, I mean, they know that we've been designing to do it, but, you know, I haven't promised when it'll happen, so.
Well, if we go in line, it'd be, if this year's the tennis court, next year's the soccer complex, it would probably be the following year, we might be able to get that and get that restroom facility done. We'll probably have enough in park sales tax that we can do both at the same year.
And it might be an opportunity to tie in, bringing them in to talk about what they're doing and what their vision is and what they would like to see.
Right.
And what they would like to contribute to that vision.
Right.
Or what they can't and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
exactly.
so it's
You tie it all together.
they could tell us some good stories.
Yep. Well, I guess what I would say is, on this, is there anything on this list that we think we need to take off or add to, just to kind of simplify things here? I mean, just going through it, I mean, I know we've talked about getting an electronic sign at the city park for a while.
I'd pay for that before I'd pay for lights on the roof, on the,
Yeah, I could see that.
on that, if it was product.
The only thing with that was we were kind of waiting to see what might happen with the front of the park because of like maybe putting a fire hall there in the front and stuff like that. We were kind of sort of waiting on that to see how that kind of materialized, but, that would be the only caveat to it. But yeah, if nothing's gonna happen with that, then yeah, I would agree, it'd be nice to have that. We could get all those banners out of there, right?
Exactly.
I hate putting those banners up.
It just looks more modern when you have
Right.
those
Yeah.
digital signs, yeah.
And I already talked about the parking lot. I have this outdoor volleyball court lighting. Several years ago, we had people asking about it, but I haven't had anybody really ask about it in a while. That's why I kind of just keep kicking the can down the road because it's just, people were passionate about it before, but now it's just kind of like, you know, it'd be nice to have, but.
What, on, early voting day, Cliff and I sat out here for a couple of days, and the rollerbladers, I guess they're homeschoolers, I'm not sure, and the skateboarders were taking advantage of all the concrete,
Yeah.
even in the traffic,
Yeah.
all that. Is that all the time, or is that just like was a one-time a month thing,
What,
you think?
people skateboarding?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've had to, I think it was a few weeks ago, I had to run them off of they jumped the fence and got on the splash pad, and I had to run them off of that. And then our part-timer went over there to check on them, and they were in the bathroom in the women's room smoking weed, so.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
It's just, yeah, it's a constant battle, you know.
Yeah,
but-
well, amphitheater, they're doing some really cool tricks.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
It's a constant
So
battle.
the skate park is one priority out at the new park
Yeah.
lot?
Yeah,
That's
it'd be nice.
great.
Yeah,
Somewhere out there.
yeah. Yeah, I think a skate park would be nice, but we do have a plan for the, new parkland, so, that one time it came up in the meeting, we was all excited, and then it just disappeared on us, so. But, on our reel mower, we're gonna need one of those again pretty soon, I would say, so that's why it's kind of a few years down the road. We're gonna need another, we need more park maintenance trucks now, really, but, it's a few years down the road. What I was planning on doing on the parks admin truck was, my truck's still in pretty good shape. It's only got like, I don't even know, not even 30,000 miles probably on it. But I was gonna just get a smaller truck for myself and then send mine out to the, park and let them use that. And then figured a couple of years later, get another park maintenance truck, cause we keep adding people and we've got some older trucks out there, so they definitely need it. And then to go along with that, we need another landscape truck soon and another dump truck, so that's kinda.
What does the headcount forecast look like over the next few years? Do you have that?
What do you mean?
Like, you have so many people now, but are you planning to add one each year, or is it pretty steady state?
I
or
think
do you
we're in
forecast
pretty good
it?
shape right now until we really start, getting into Byram Park. I would say then we may need to add some more maintenance staff. But right now we're in pretty good shape, cause we don't really have to do much over at Byram Park other than, we have to fix things occasionally for Tom and stuff around the house, and we've had to fix the driveway and stuff, but, I know Cliff, like he mows over there and stuff, so we don't have to keep up with that too much, but, so, until we get into that, I think we're in pretty good shape.
And our rec center.
Yeah, now the rec center,
Full-time
that's,
attendant.
admin staff, that's a different story, so, yeah. Yeah, once we get probably starting next year, we'll have to start adding people.
Well, I think it's hard, I don't know, it's hard for me to see this and then the other budget. You guys know what's going on, because you're swapping dollars around and stuff, but for us to help make recommendations, it's really hard to see when it's pieced apart like that. So it might be good, because the priorities are probably very clear and you're making the right decisions, but if you want us to participate in the prioritization process, I think we need to see the whole, what I would call a P&L for what you're managing, so that would be the head count and the forecast for, was it staying the same or it's not? What do you think right now over the next, let's say 3 to 5 years, 3 years anyway? Cause you already know it all, it's just not in one place to be able to see it.
Mhm.
Therefore, my brain doesn't work to assimilate it all.
Because right now, I'm only seeing a piece of the budget.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing the whole picture, and that's kind of what she's saying, is I don't really see the,
But you have it all managed in the way you do it, and you do it with Jerry, because you can feel that it's working. But it's,
What do you need me to show you?
You can probably show them your whole budget, I mean, you can probably just let them see how you have broken up your senior center, your museum with all your line items, and your park maintenance, your park admin. They should probably look at that, at
Mhm.
least have it available
I've
to them.
actually got it here.
And then,
Yeah, it's broken into the senior center, museum, parks admin, park maintenance, and then I've got cemetery
probably, I mean, like that,
stuff. And then it's got the revenue funds.
I know you're trying to help us by doing this, but for me,
Well, really, for this, I mean, I just wanted to, because I don't have to do anything until really, we go in January, the department heads do, to
Mhm.
present the capital projects we have.
and you have
So-
another meeting before that, right?
Right, we'll have another meeting before we even go there. So
Okay.
this is just kind of, I wanted to kind of put it out there to see if there's thoughts on things that you guys would like to see or you think are, you know, the community needs. So make sure I'm staying in line with that. And then it always helps that I can tell the board, you know, hey, the Leisure Service Board supports, you know, all the projects that we're presenting here.
I think you got our support on all that, it's just added clarity, I think, for us, for me
Right.
anyway, if you wanna.
And there's three, I mean, like I said, you've got 3 areas of funding, I'm looking, you've got parks, you've got park sales, you've got parks impact, it probably,
Yeah.
and if he, cause he's gonna need to know what to submit, you know, for this next year's budget coming up in January, that's why in January, I'm hoping you guys will be able to guide, give him, what do you think needs to be his highest prioritizations coming into this next year?
I mean, I think the exercise we've done in the past, and we're way ahead of where we were in the past with the prioritization, even with the dots, you know, because you could say, this is what I think, and Helen might say, well, I think this is.
More
this-
important.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like you do your thing anyway, and it worked for us last time, because then we're engaged, with you and the budget and the item, which in the end, last time it came out to be pretty much
Maybe
the
you can
same
do that
anyway,
next,
but.
in our January meeting, maybe you can set up
Yeah.
something with your 3 different funds and let them use the stickers and let them decide what they think is their, you know, number 1, 2, 3.
It helps us to be more involved that way,
Mhm.
because your brain,
Yeah.
at least mine engages differently. But I mean, the only thing that I've heard, I mean, the pictures of the playground that's messed up, so it's pretty much for me, taking care of what we have, which you've got on there for the most part. That's what most people that I hear are talking about, taking care of what we have. And then the only thing that's not on there that I hear people still talking about and using is a skateboarder, rollerblader / bike thing, you know, that goes on all wheels, basically. And I guess we could put that off until Byron Park, but
It's a tough one because like, we don't have anywhere for them to go, so like I hate to kick them out, but then they start, you know, when they start getting a little more, then it's like, all right, you gotta go. Like, it's technically not allowed, so, you know, it's a tough one, but.
Yeah, I think a lot of people longboard as well, so it's some of the guys that are doing the tricks and things, but there's a lot more kids that are doing the longboard, they like the Greenway trails and it's a smooth slide, so. That's good. And I think one of the key things we got to think about for future growth is, we know we're growing, 13,000 people White House right now? Is that?
Oh, no, I think we're close to, in that 15.5, this is close to 16.
So if we're growing X amount per year, you know, I look at some of the parks indices, it's like how many square miles of parkland per capita. There's certain things about how many facilities per capita. So it's trying to keep up those type metrics as well and making sure that we're adding those type resources. So
Yeah.
you have something as a goal to look at it, and I even look at, you know, remember years ago we took over Northwoods Park, right? 'Cause that was
Actually, that was part of the deal when they built that, that's all that's the only park we have in the neighborhood that belongs.
So we don't have,
to the
so we
city.
don't have to worry about that. 'Cause I didn't know that if it was something that they said, well, we can't maintain it anymore, and then the city had to take it,
No, I
or
was-
would that be a risk of all these other neighborhoods going in? And then also, how do we utilize and maybe work with, our planning commissioner when they're trying to approve a new neighborhood or a new apartment complex? They're supplementing really it's not really our parks plan, but every time they build a playground or a walking trail around there,
Pool.
or a pool or something, that's added recreation value to our community without us having to manage it from the Parks Department.
Like that spur trail that's over behind Tom's, that'll be that was their thing, right?
Yeah.
And it'd be easy to tie into.
And that's where you may find out, if you start adding in and going, okay, well, what we support from the city, how many square miles of parkland do we have? Do you add in the neighborhoods' square footage of their area? So you have what is city maintained and what is, like
HOA.
neighborhood HOA
Space,
maintained.
yeah.
Because you should effectively count that in your total number,
Never
right?
really thought about that, but you're right, I mean, because we do require a certain amount of open space in these new subdivisions, plus something recreational for them to do.
Yeah.
So, they're adding pickleball courts out at the Legacy and a pool, which looks pretty nice, so they're doing both of those there, so that does add to recreation for the city.
Yeah, without having to
The
be
parks,
maintained by you.
Parks put a playground in and a pool, so they're doing that stuff, so.
I think that's an indice that you should track. Hey, I don't have to manage it, but it adds value to the city by having these things.
And the demographics of the changing city landscape. I mean, I just saw that in Facebook posts, following Cliff's campaign on the data that you get back. I was surprised. I was surprised at the age group from 35 to 45, the young families, that are actually more involved. So are we planning for that? And again, we did our dot exercise, how many years ago that was, not that long, say 3 years ago or 4. And we said, we keep care of what we got, but we're gonna make sure the kids get their thing. Rec center's gonna be most of that. And then the aging community, as well. But it'd be great to see numbers on that as we've evolved, because we wouldn't have had these projections that we have today 3 or 4 years ago. We wouldn't have anticipated the growth that fast. And even if we did, it probably wouldn't be where the demographic that we would have chosen, or we would have thought was forecast. I wouldn't have anyway.
Right. And I think we've always had a goal too of trying to keep the Greenway connected to major areas around town. And, we keep knocking off a little bit at a time, but I think best I remember, there was even a connector between Cambria and Cedarbrook behind your house, your old house.
Yeah.
But it's a bunch of trees that if you cut those trees, you would have some people probably standing on their head. But
Y'all would've been one of them.
yep.
And there's sewer force main right behind there too.
Yeah. So, but I just keep thinking about some of the goals that we set years ago. Was like, well, we'd love to have that Greenway Trail, and now you've got the new neighborhood off Tyree that could connect in to that area, and that could go to the soccer complex. So before you know it, and every time you add that in, it's more paving, it's more maintenance. But then you go, that's areas that people can skate, they can longboard, they can rollerblade. It just adds that.
Be connected.
Well, the reserve has 2 connections to our greenway now, and the one coming in Cope's Crossing across from White House High School has 2 or maybe 3 connections to the greenway. So those neighbors, they could just walk onto the greenway, actually walk to school.
And they've got
So we make 'em
sidewalks
more
too, right, in
walkable,
that
yeah.
neighborhood?
All
Reserve.
throughout the neighborhood, so they can walk the sidewalks, go right onto the greenway, walk either way on the greenway.
Kind of
It might
those
be an interesting
auxiliary
project,
space.
because it's been a long time since we've looked at that, and, because of, if Jerry knows the communities that are being developed, or in, let's say, however many houses it is in the next 3 to 5 years or 3 years, and you kinda know where they're gonna go, maybe we do a little overview of where the greenways are, and if there would be.
Yeah, no, Steve just brought it up this week about trying to, make make some of these communities more connected to our greenway and stuff.
Trying to, I mean,
That's
we're, I'm always, this committee probably doesn't know, but we applied for a grant for a walkable grant that we got through the MPO to put a sidewalk system and improve the intersection of Raymond Hirsch and 31W. Because right now there's no crosswalks there, the traffic signals are not correct for that. So we're gonna be upgrading that. We have $1 million project going there with 80-20 split with us, 20% of the state, 80% of that project. Actually, it's coming from COVID money that the MPO was awarded. So we got that, and that's in the very first phase now in NEPA, but you'll see over the next 2.5 to 3 years we'll get that done. It includes sidewalks that'll actually connect to Twin Springs Apartments, so it'll be around Volunteer Bank down there. It'll go, if we get all that we want, it's gonna go all the way down past the karate shop down there, almost to Brookside, the sidewalk will. And then we're always trying to, be in front of Dollar General too. So we're always trying to make those connections that I can, with sidewalks and then tying to Greenway. I really would like to see us on the east side of 31W from where we're gonna end it at, I think it's at Brookside, so that's court, that's Brooklawn Court. I think it is all the way down to the soccer complex. It would be nice to have it on that one side, because when we have the Americana, people use the sidewalk, they walk, they can go from one park all the way down to the other. So we're always looking for connectivity where we can. But not everybody sees the big picture, because you're only getting a piece of it here, and I'm getting a piece of it planning commission, or I'm in a meeting trying to get a grant, trying to put a piece together. So yeah, it probably would hurt to have more discussion about that.
That's a piece we would never see, but pull it all together. I mean, he just probably has the best view.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty good seat, yeah. Yeah, to see what's happening. Yeah, him and I work together on a lot of stuff.
And I guess he does have that thing on the website with, shows all the development and everything, so,
yeah,
that's a pretty helpful tool to look at.
That is a really helpful tool. Him and I are still working on refining it a little bit and making a few more corrections to it, but it's out there. I mean, you can see what businesses are under construction and what subdivisions are actively building. So
Maybe we can bring him into one of our next meetings to kind of talk about what's going on and
yeah,
where it's connected and that type of thing.
be great. Yeah, he'd be really good with that.
I also think something that you guys made really good progress with, and I'm involved in this with my company. Are you familiar with the ESG matrix, where you're having to report about sustainability and how you're being more green? It's really strange how many calls we get at my company. We're a industrial machinery and woodworking tool company, and we get calls about energy efficiency and tracking of your machines and air quality and decibels, and so the ESG is going to be even more important because people are making a lot of decisions about that. I think we've done well. You probably don't even realize what you've done with just this building, with efficiency and the SEER level of your HVAC and your LED lighting, but sports field with the LED lightings. Those are things that I think maybe you even track about what you've gone from kilowatt usage, kilowatt hours, things like that. So.
You notice that difference yet with the LEDs? We've been at the soccer complex. We've changed out almost all of the LED. I mean,
they're almost all LED.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that helps. I know that when we did it out at the interstate, the big high mass lighting, when we changed that over to LED, we saved a significant amount of money in electricity.
And I think those are things the city should promote and try to put out there about the sustainability, because it's a bigger deal. And I'm the old redneck guy that never thought about it, but it's like, wow, that actually, we get calls about that all the time now, and so we're starting to do a lot more of that activity.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I try to do it every year, where I turn in like all of our numbers and everything, and then the NRPA, National Parks Association, they'll send you back like metrics to see how you compare. And
yeah.
I think I shared that one year maybe and stuff, so I need to do that again, to where, it kind of shows, where we're at and where we need to go. It really helps with that, so. And it gives, like you said, like how many acres you should have per, how many people per parkland and all that kind of stuff. It gives all those kind of numbers to see where you're at, so.
Yeah, you did that for us before. That might be good to look at that again.
I mean, it would be nice if we had, because like we're business as usual, everything's going well, funded, we're growing. So maybe as a board, one of the things we're already doing it, but let's maybe say, what as a board could we help with, going back to the optimizing our talents within the board here, that we could do, that we could, once we did it, like, let's just use the example of the trails and the sidewalks and just basically what that overview looks like. Where can we contribute so that we can help you guys to be more ready for the next questions that come up. So I think, it's a strategy part, right? Not the tactical, let's get this done, but let's get ready for what's coming. And, it just takes time to do that, so we just all have to be willing to say, yeah, let's do a study session on the sidewalks and the trail, places in the growth, or let's do one on sustainability, or let's do one on the demographic changes, and do we have the right priorities in the right places, looking at the next 3 to 5 years, which, again, is what you and Jerry are probably doing, but we're, so far on the outside, we're gonna have limited, opinions until we engage. And, you know, once we engage, then you're like, oh, yeah, click, 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 it's going on, and some really great ideas come out. Other than just, okay, everything's fine, we're in the meeting and we're out. I mean, you guys know, I mean, that's why I'm on this board for so long, is because we can make things happen, we can help, and we want to. I think this board is a really good, active, educated, group of people that have more to offer than we're probably using. You use and abuse us more, but we have to have it structured for us to be able to participate that way. That's what I was trying to say.
Well, we could put together like a budget subcommittee or something like that. I think like the library does something like that.
They do, they have a subcommittee, a couple of different, one's on policy, one's on budget. They got one or two other ones too.
And I don't want to overwhelm us either, but maybe we pick 2 or 3 things that we think maybe this next, you know, as we turn the corner into January, we can do, start with 2. That would be
Well, January definitely need to prioritize, because he's got to come into the budget meeting, and I can tell you the department heads are going to say, why is that a priority for you? You know, and how does it fit in with overall city, you know, projects? You know, and then how does that compare, because he's going to have to answer for that, so. And they will hold him accountable. I know they all hold each other accountable for the projects that are being submitted for capital projects.
budget
I
in
mean, I guess the
January.
first meeting would just be an overall, you know, an overview of the budget and everything and how it all works and all that, and, and then just, you know, start prioritizing everything from there, so.
Yeah, Carlos
Down
hasn't
to
been on
whatever.
he hasn't been through one of those, so that would be good too.
Yeah.
And Helen, maybe not either.
Well, when's the best time, so I can do whatever.
Next meeting, when, January?
January 5th.
5th. Can we do it, when do you have to present your stuff?
It'll be later in January. It's usually like January 20-something, I think, but I don't think it's been set yet.
It hasn't been yet. We'll do the budget calendar to the December board meeting. We'll get that approved, and then we'll move from there, but it's usually the last week in January.
So maybe we do it at that meeting, and then if we need something else to help you, we can do a special call meeting between
Yep.
then and
Right.
the end of the month.
In that 2-3 window.
What?
2 or 3 week window.
Yeah,
2 or 3 week window, you could probably do something in there.
you'd have to decide that night to get it posted to be able to have the meeting before then. Otherwise, we do something between now and then and just use the January meeting to run soon.
So come into the January meeting with what you feel your priorities are, to share with us in the budget.
But I probably need to give you like an overview of the.
Y'all will review the budget and what we think is the most important, try to rank them in some sort of categorization,
Okay.
so that we can come to us and we can say, okay, well, why, or move this one here, or what's there.
Use us as a pre-sell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then be rough around the edges, because that's just the conversation we would engage in, and then that way maybe there'll be something that comes out of it that would help you fine tune your stuff.
Sounds good.
Well, that is all we have. Does anyone have anyone else for the agenda? No?
You guys are doing a great job.
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn. I'm not supposed to do it every time.
Second. We have a second.
Carlos said.
All right. I didn't do
How many
court.
did I lose?